Tonight, what President Trump's unprecedented takeover of D.C. police means for the Capitol and the country. I'm Casey Hunt. And for Caitlin Collins, this is The Source. Darkness falls on Washington tonight. Some 700,000 residents here in the nation's capital are living through an unprecedented federal takeover, something that we really have never seen before. President Trump declaring that the 3,000 officers serving D.C.'s Metropolitan Police Department will now be under his administration's control.
I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States. I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that.
In a lengthy news conference, it went on for more than an hour, the president said he is also deploying hundreds of National Guard troops. The Army says that roughly 800 of them will be activated, all supporting not only a federalized police department, but what the president described as a surge of federal agents from a host of government agencies, including the FBI, ATF, DEA, Park Police, and the Secret Service, all to fight what Trump claims is a city absolutely overrun by crime.
Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it.
The president today signed an executive order that says as much. It's called, quote, declaring a crime emergency in the District of Columbia. It slams rising crime in D.C. as a crisis. And of course, that is the requirement under the home rule law for any president to take over D.C.'s police force, that there is a crisis. Which raises the question, do the numbers back up the claims that the president is making? So D.C. did have a major crime spike in 2023. If you lived here then, you lived through it. There was a 20-year high in homicides that year. But the city's most recent statistics claim that crime has fallen sharply in the years since then. They say that violent crime in D.C. fell 35% from 2023 to 2024, and claim that it's fallen another 26% from 2024 to now. Here's the city's data by category. Homicides down 12%, assaults with a dangerous weapon down 20%, robberies down 28%, down 20%, robberies down 28%, sexual abuse crimes down 50%. These statistics claim that violent crime here is the lowest in 3 decades. And we should acknowledge that the most violent day in modern DC history happened inside that building you are looking at, as well as outside it, 4.5 years ago. But regardless of what the numbers show, the fact is that a lot of people do feel unsafe living in Washington, D.C., especially since the COVID pandemic. President Trump is tapping into a feeling. There is a pervasive sense among many of the city's residents that the city is simply not as safe as it used to be. President Trump, again, tapping into that. The question is, what will change in D.C. under the president's directive? He suggested rather directly what would change is how police officers respond to residents.
See, they fight back until you knock the hell out of them, because it's the only language they understand. But they fought back against law enforcement last night. The police are standing, and they're told, don't do anything under any such, so this, and you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want.
Do whatever the hell they want. Charged words that prompted the D.C. mayor, Muriel Bowser, to offer this warning.
And while this action today is unsettling and unprecedented, I can't say that given some of the rhetoric of the past, that we're totally surprised. What could be a disaster is if we lose communities who won't call the police. That could be a disaster. What will be a disaster if communities won't talk to the police if a crime has been committed and could help solve that crime. That could be a disaster. It would be a disaster if people who aren't committing crimes are antagonized into committing crimes.
My lead sources tonight: retired Army Major General Randy Manna, the former federal prosecutor Shan Wu, Democratic strategist Maria Cardona, and former communications director for the RNC, Doug High. Welcome to all of you. Thank you all for being here. Randy Manna, I do want to start with you because, of course, you have so much experience with the DC National Guard and really understand how this city works. Can you explain what this would look like, what this does look like, and whether it's necessary?
Right up front, we've got to be certain that there is no data that supports that there is any kind of emergency that requires a military response in the District of Columbia. There is no data. In all my time as the acting vice chief of the National Guard Bureau, as well as a member of the DC National Guard, there is nothing that supports the president's allegations. This, at best, is a police opportunity where the mayor is engaging with the community as she should be. So again, there is no requirement here for military operation. This is absolutely a distraction from the president's domestic woes, whether it has to do with the Epstein files or the jobless rate. It's just him trying to divert attention by taking armed military on the streets of our national capital. It's actually a disgrace.
Shan Wu,